speak to you in the name of God the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Good morning.
Good morning.
By this point, I'm sure that most, if not all of you, know who I am. But for those of you who might not, I am Mother Kelsey, and as of this week, have been called to be your Supply Plus priest here at St. John's. Although I have been with you before, this is my first Sunday being called by you, in what I hope and pray will be a fruitful relationship. But you started me off with a challenge. Today is Trinity Sunday. It is the Sunday designated by the Church to celebrate the mystery of faith and unity of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And I'll let you in on a little secret. This is not the desired Sunday to preach by most priests. Yes, we have more training and education than most people in regards to the Trinity, but unfortunately, we aren't much closer to understanding the mystery any better than the next person. Trinity Sunday has been recognized by the Church since 1334, and priests and pastors have been racking their brains ever since, trying to help people understand the mystery of how God can in fact be three persons, but only one God. Even my common example of the Trinity is in fact heretical. We focus on the word homoousios, meaning of the same substance, which lends itself to the example of the Trinity as water. It can come in three forms: liquid, ice, and steam. And I do believe that is still the easiest stepping stone to understanding the Trinity. Although my fellow theologians would be quick to correct me that this example falls into the heresy of modalism, mainly meaning that water cannot be all three forms at one time, which is one of the primary characteristics of the Trinity. God can, in fact, be the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit all at one time. So this leads me to the next description of the Trinity. We try to describe the Trinity as a dance, specifically perichoresis. It is technically the name of a Greek dance. There are not two dancers, but at least three, and they start to go in circles, weaving in and out in this very beautiful pattern of motion. They start to go faster, 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 all while staying in perfect rhythm and in sync with each other. Eventually, they are dancing so quickly, yet so effortlessly, that as you look at them, it just becomes a blur. Their individual identities are part of a larger dance. The early church fathers and mothers looked at that dance and said, that is what the Trinity is like. It's a harmonious set of relationship in which there is mutual giving and receiving. It is a hard concept to grasp that this God we love so much is actually three persons, but yet almost indistinguishable. But it is the description and example that caught my attention while preparing for today. I'm sure it will come as no surprise to you that I've been thinking a lot lately about transition. The start of a new call, the summer coming and parking summer camps, vacations, and ending ultimately in my children starting new grades in the fall. So this idea of the dance strikes home with me today. The dance. The fluidity between Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. It gets me thinking about what we all too often take advantage of. In today's society, it is so easy to be tempted to believe in the black and white. This one thing is right, and this one thing is wrong. We see it even in my descriptions of the Trinity. But that isn't how the world works. It's not how God works. We live in a world of spectrum of color. Things can't be just black and white because that's not how God created it. In Genesis, God created male and female, But yet we know today that science has proven there's more than just male and female. There can be any number of combinations. And that's not it. God said, "Let the waters under the sky be gathered into one place, and let the dry land appear." And yet there are marshes, swamps, bogs, and fens. On the second day, God separated the sky from the water. Seems rather black and white, right? But the clouds hold water for us in the sky. The condensation and rain cycles refresh our earth consistently. The sky, separate from the water, contains and releases water. God made day and night. But in 24 hours, we experience things like the sunrise and the sunset, not to mention overcast days. God made the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. And then, almost as an afterthought, and the stars. Yet, there's more than just sun and moon in outer space. Planets, asteroids, black holes, supernovas. God created the great sea monsters and every winged bird of every kind. Again, a split between water and sky, yet we see creatures like penguins that are definitely a winged bird, but do not fly, and instead walk and swim. Our God is a God of more than just this or that. He is a God of fluidity between the extremes. And today, as we celebrate both the Trinity and the beginning of this new relationship, this brings me great joy and comfort. We are entering into a both and a not quite relationship. Together, we have to figure out what this supply plus role really means to the benefit of God's church. And today's gospel can also help add some clarity to our new condition. In John today, we hear how Jesus tells the disciples that there are things he knows that we cannot bear to hear right now. But the Spirit is coming, and she will lead us to the truth. Anytime the truth is mentioned in John's gospel, it is not meant as facts or certainty, but rather truth refers to Jesus. So we are told today that in community, we are going to be led by the Spirit to a greater understanding of all that Jesus has said and a deeper conviction regarding who he is. John encourages us as a community to be open to fresh encounters with the revelation that is Jesus. John is wanting us to be led by the Spirit to new growth. You can't imagine John thinks that there is any truth beyond that the Word made flesh. But the message of Jesus and the meaning of Jesus will require ongoing interpretation. The promise of this text is that we, as a community, can face what the future holds. Not because of some supernatural revelation, but because with the Spirit we will be able to grasp the meaning of Jesus' revelation and remain faithful, no matter what the circumstances. That, my friends, is a promise we can build. We worship a God of war. We worship a God of dance and fluidity, the God of the marsh and the penguin, the God of the sunrise, the cloud, and the supernovas. We worship the God of spectrum. We worship the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. I understand now is announcement time. So I am Mother Kelsey. I am very delighted and excited to be with all of you, and I look forward to seeing what this both and not quite relationship is going to look like. A few things. I'm going to forget some of them. So, first thing is it going in an email too? Yes, no? Email for sure. Email for sure. Okay. If we need to. They're in your email soon, as well as out in the parish hall. There is a QR code to scan to get to a link if you want to do it digitally. There is a little survey. It is not a big survey. It is just to help me get to know you a little bit more. Mainly birthdays anniversaries. And then there's a spot that says, if you could tell me one thing, what would it be? And it does not have to be necessarily about St. John's. It does not have to be about personal stuff. It could be about Bedford. It could be about any or all. I'm really just interested to learn more about the community, and the community is everybody, and you, your family is anything. Just on a personal note, as society develops and technology becomes, number one, I am on social media. If you so choose to join, to ask me to be your friend on Facebook, please choose the Reverend Kelsey Hutto-Ford. That one I will accept anybody on. It is a way to kind of divide the impropriety and not be victim of anything. And to let you know, I will never request your friendship. You will have to request mine, again, just to avoid any craziness. I feel like there's one more. Do you remember what it was?
Do you want to talk about that?
I thought there was one more.
The cottage gathering?
Yes, cottage meeting. So, as part of a way to get to know you guys, part of my time here is supposed to be pastoral care. And I cannot perform any pastoral care without knowing you. One of the ways that we would like to do that is to do cottage dinners. So anybody can get together with another family or by yourselves or however we decide to do it. And I'll come with my wife and my family if you so choose, but please realize I have 4 children. So if you don't want a 4-year-old running around your house, I suggest not inviting my children. And that will be coming out in an email as well. We're not sure how that's going to look like, but it's just an opportunity to get to know each other and spend some fellowship together. There are currently 2 scouts in your building. They are in the library. They are not necessarily church-going children and not necessarily people. So if you don't mind just letting them be, we won't have any problem, but we are leaving immediately from here to go to scout camp at Mommy. So that is why my wife is in her uniform. I'll be in mine later today. But just so you know, they are here. Any other announcements? Any birthdays or anniversaries? Well, let us walk in love as Christ loved us and gave to himself an offering and sacrifice to God.